I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Columbia Pictures takes you beyond the future to a universe you've never seen before in heavy metal. Heavy metal. Rated R.
Now playing at the Cinerama Dome Hollywood and the Cinedome Orange County.
Hey, this is Match once again. We're going back to another review. This one is for Jonathan Lindsey, who sent in a request via PayPal. If anyone wants to request anything, pretty much anything video-wise, reviews, re-reviews, doesn't just have to be a movie, or it could be a topic, a reaction, or pretty much any type of video, you just send the request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, heavy metal, I had to review this up, but it got taken down for stupidity reasons. So I was glad to get the chance to re-review this, as well as to rewatch it, because I love this film. Heavy metal, to me, is badass. It's kick-ass, it's fun, it's imaginative. I love the look of the film, whether the rotoscoping animation, and I love the, it's adult animes. You got the titties, you got the blood, you got the cursing, but at the same time, it's used well. How is that not used well? Ask Rob Zombie, watch one of his fucking movies, or some other stuff. The music, Elmer Bernstein's score, wonderful music. Of course, the man who, after this would do Ghostbusters, actually. Not a lot of people talk about the score of the film, but it fits it very well, especially when moments showing the green meteorite, the orb, the Lochnar, and almost soft, like choir type of music on those scenes, as well as the rest of the score, especially like the more heroic score when the Den segment, that John Candy voices that character, the more heroic motifs of the score. This is very good. But the soundtrack is pretty badass. I mean, you got Sammy Hagar's "One Way Ticket to Paradise," we call it heavy metal. Great song, my favorite of the soundtrack. But you also got Cheap Trick, you got Blue Oyster Cult, you got Journey, which I forgot about. Open Arms by Journey was in this. One of the best soundtracks of the 80s. And you know what? The more I think about it, this is my favorite anthology film. Which is interesting because there's not a lot of animated films I could think of that's an anthology. I'm trying to think right now what anthology films are there that are animated. At least ones that went into theaters. And I'm hard pressed to think of them. I'm sure there are. There'll be people mentioning in the comments, but so it made it a bit unique, made it a bit interesting to have an anthology type of storytelling with animation, which actually makes sense because you could have different worlds and different. In one, you could have it be on a form of Earth where a space shuttle is orbiting it, the bay doors open and this fucking Corvette comes down. You have another one in it's World War II B17 bomber. You can have one that's on the outer stretches of outer space. You can have one that's in a complete other world dimension. And because of animation, you're able to do that and still keep a consistency. With a movie, maybe this will look better, this will look worse, considering what the budget. If you have a big fucking budget, then it'll be consistent. But if you don't, maybe if you take place in another dimension future, it'll look chintzier than, oh, if it takes place on Earth, it'll look better because it's cheaper. And like the voice cast that have people like John Candy and Harold Ramis, Eugene Levy, and others do voices. John Vernon does a voice in one of his segments. That was nice because I miss John Candy, and a lot of those sadly, not all, but a lot of those people I mentioned have passed away. And I always forget how much John Candy's in this. He's in a good chunk of the segments, like the one where it takes place in the New York in the future and the taxi cab story. John Candy voices a cop in the police station, and then he's the lead character, the title character in the one with the robot, the sex robot. That's John Candy's voice. And I love John Candy. I miss John Candy. I even did a John Candy marathon, which I know, which is ironic because one person got so pissed off that I hated Wagons East, saying, how did you say this about John Candy? I didn't. Wagons East sucks though. Do you not realize I did a John Candy marathon where I reviewed almost all of his films, and a lot of them I liked. Great Outdoors, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, Summer Rental, Uncle Buck. I reviewed all of them. I liked them. Do I like every single film he's been part of? No. Most people think Wagons East sucks, so you can suck it. Whoever the hell that guy was, I don't even remember. But I just found funny. He's like, why do you hate John Candy? I did a John Candy marathon where I reviewed almost all of his films. Name someone else who has done a John Candy marathon. Why did I do a John Candy marathon? Because I love John Candy. I wanted to see most of his films. And I liked a lot of them. Spaceballs, that's another one. Little Shop of Horrors, he had a big part in that. I liked that movie. This one, I liked this movie. But now I can add that to my playlist of John Candy reviews. Now I got a chance to re-review it. So thank you, Jonathan Lindsey. But yeah, I love the animation. I love the soundtrack. It's like, this is the type of film we're going with. Don't hold back. So most of the segments, you got women with their titties out, naked as the day they were born, or more so, because now their titties are really out. If it gets bloody, it needs to. When people do drugs, it needs to. When it does the violence, it needs to. And it does it. It doesn't hold back. Like the taxi cab in the future, the cab driver has a disintegrator where he pushes a button and someone's holding them up. He could disintegrate, pretty much melt their ass with his death ray in the back seat. That's a pretty cool idea actually to have for those who drive cabs. Well, you can't do that because the technology doesn't exist, as well as other reasons, folks. I'm just playing, but just a fun time. Like, this is a badass movie. Like, anytime I see something, like, this is a badass film. This is such a kick-ass film. I know at one point they were going to remake it or do another movie. Well, they did Heavy Metal 2000. That film sucks, in my opinion, for a variety of reasons. Number one, you don't do the anthology again, which I thought was a mistake. That's one of the fun things about heavy metal. Also, the music was not nearly as good. There's a variety of reasons why I don't like that one. This I much prefer. But they were going to do a remake. It was like, oh yeah, David Fincher's going to do it. James Cameron, Robert Rodriguez. That didn't happen. I guess on Netflix there's something called Love, Sex, and Robots. It ran for a number of episodes. from what I understand, that's technically was going to be the remake of Heavy Metal. That just like David Fincher produces it. I think Tim Miller produces it. Again, there was ideas that they were going to do for a movie. It didn't work out, so then they did the show. So I haven't seen it, but apparently that is sort of a spiritual nod to Heavy Metal. Love, I think it's called Love, Sex, and Robots. I forget the actual title. But I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But, going to the film itself, I love that they got Percy Rodriguez to voice the Lochnar. Just like, I recognize that voice. And it's the guy who did a lot of the trailers. He did the trailer for Jaws. He did the trailers for a ton of movies, especially in the 80s. Hey, if you want a voice to be the ultimate evil, Percy Rodriguez, he could fit that bill. He just had a fantastic voice. That's why they used him for so many movie trailers. See, I know Jaws trailer. Try to think of other trailers. There's trailers for Mutant. There's trailers for... God. It's not the trailer for the TV, but the TV spot for the first Power Lou Diamond Phillips. Anyway, there's a ton of stuff. So it goes to the different segments. I mentioned the space shuttle orbiting Earth, and somehow this Corvette just slides all the way down from the stratosphere, the atmosphere. I like the little details, like as he's going, some stuff gets on the windshield and it wipes it off. I don't know why that little detail made me laugh. And that leads into, you call the wraparound, where that astronaut is the father of this little girl. And hey, I got you a gift. As soon as he opens up the Ark of the Covenant, it's, sure kept his eyes shut. He just fucking melts, and the little girl's like, of course she's freaked out because she saw her dad just melt in front of fucking her. And so Percy Rodriguez is this green orb that's of evil, and pretty much tells her the history, some of the stuff it's been involved with. Thus you get the stories of an anthology. So you have one that takes place, I mentioned the future in New York, taxi cab driver, pretty much Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element. I didn't fucking tell you Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element. There's a bit of, someone had some inspiration from this. That's why I'm surprised no one's done like a fan trailer for Heavy Metal, the live action. Because if they did, they could use footage from this and other movies. I try to look for it, like, I wonder if anyone's done it. I wouldn't know how to do it, but yeah, I'm just surprised no one's done that. But that's a fun segment, because the cab driver is definitely a New Yorker, has the right tone, has the right mannerisms, has the right attitude. Again, the guy tries to rob him. He disintegrates his ass by having this death ray on the back of his seat. And this feature where the cops want $1,000 to do their job. Or he's looking at hookers, kiss my ass. I'll do it for $20. And the stories that he's doing his job. This beautiful lady pops to his cab. She's in trouble. Takes her to his place. Doesn't make the moves on her. Isn't a creep. He just goes into bed. She just takes off her clothes and goes in with him. I thought this had some fun dialogue. Like, this dame was going for broke. Maybe the first time she'd been with a New Yorker. And that's when Journey's Open Arms is happening. I'm like, I forgot this song was in this movie. So I like the lead guy, the dialogue he had. I had to ditch a couple of assholes. This little car chase with people chasing him. And also what's nice about this anthology, most of them end on a happy note. There's a thing, when you think of anthology, you think of horror anthologies. And the thing with the horror anthology, sometimes they end happy, a lot of times they don't. But here, because it's not strictly horror, there's some horrific moments in it. But because it's Heavy Metal, it's more sci-fi, fantasy. But there are horror segments. It's nice knowing or seeing that if you grow to like the characters, they won't just fucking die as such. Which I'm saying, that's not always the case in anthologies. Like Creepshow, that's a good one. Trick or Treat, that's a good one. But I'm just saying, with anthologies and horror, that's usually the direction they go in, and I can understand it. And believe me, there's a lot of anthologies I think are good in the horror realm. I mentioned two of them, Creepshow, Trick or Treat. Tales from the Hood is another good one. But yeah, it would be nice to see another anthology that's animated and had a theatrical showing like Heavy Metal. Especially one that went for broke on sex, nudity, violence. Can you imagine this film in the PC age of today with, oh my god, they objectify women. The women are hot. Okay? And the story ends with a badass woman kicking ass and being the big hero of the story. So, hold your horses. So I think that was a very fun segment and very surprising at the end. Spoilers. The fucking hot chick tries to put the hit on him. And he's like, you sure you want to do it? Okay. Disintegrates her ass. It's like, pretty, but stupid. I just take this as a 2-day job with a great tip. But yeah, that's a very entertaining one. I love the designs throughout the entire anthology, whether designs of the future New York and the Statue of Liberty, or the other dimension, like our next story, Den, where John Candy plays this dirty kid that gets transported to another dimension because of the Lotnar, and because of the journey, he gets all these muscles and bald, and he's a formidable fighter. But then the voice in his head is John Candy talking like he was a nerdy kid. No one was gonna walk around with my dork hanging out. So that's a nice like comparison, like this big muscled He-Man figure, but you know, John Candy's voice talking natural and talking, having some fun lines of dialogue. But yeah, I like the look of that whole dimension, or the way the zombies, the EC comic style of the B17 segment, or the futuristic spaceships and cityscapes you would see in the, I forget what the story was called, the one with John Candy as the robot, and here's the pretty lady, and Harold Ramis is one of two aliens that it's plutonium nioboard, but it's fucking cocaine. That's what it's, coke. But really nice designs, really cool looking movie. Yeah, I love the way it's animated, especially the rotoscoping. They don't really do that nowadays, rotoscoping. Maybe they feel it's too old hat, maybe they feel it's too much work. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to explain to me why they don't do rotoscoping anymore. Because I love the look of it. Makes it a bit unique compared to other types of animation. But then, this is one of my favorite segments. Just one of the reasons, because John Candy, like John Candy, very rarely got to be the action hero. I mean, closest was like Armed and Dangerous or something like that. But this is kind of the closest he did, where you have the John Candy fun mentality and lines, but put in this big body, so he's able to kick ass. Like, he saves his girl from a sacrifice, but then he gets cop blocked. He's like, I don't know who these assholes were, but they sure picked the wrong time to show up. Like, that's a line I could see myself saying. So that gives into the relatability of this crazy, fantastical situation. But John Candy's delivery of the lines, that he's thinking of this stuff, and the way it's written. I'm like, yeah, I could see myself saying the same thing. And yeah, you get your sex, you get your titties, has sex with his queen, but then she tries to kill him. One thing that made me laugh is this fight between two of the villains with this Lotnar, and the guy says, "Stupid bitch, the Lotnar is mine." I don't know why I didn't expect him to call him stupid bitch. You stupid bitch. Which again, that was a funny line, just this out of blue delivery of it. But because of it being R-rated, because of the rating, then you're able to not hold back on stuff like that. Now, yes, it could be used and abused in an unflattering, unfunny, and exemplary of annoyance. I mentioned Rob Zombie because a lot of his movies, they utilize that and they do it piss poorly in my opinion. Something like this, I thought did that much better, and also much more fun. And again, you mix in with the animation and the designs, like some of the characters ride these giant bugs that go across the landscape. And again, another one that ends on a happy note. You know what? I had a chance to go back, but on Earth, I'm a nobody. But here, I'm Dan. And that's one of the other examples of Elmer Bernstein's score also helping make a scene like that work. The sort of heroic, nice culmination of that story. Let's see, another story. It's weird to say even story. Some of this is more like a scene. Because you have a very short running time and you have so much stuff to get to, a lot of these can't really have much room to breathe. That's probably the only issue I could say with the film is I loved it. I wanted more of it. I mean, no one else will agree, but I could see this film for 2 hours. That's how much I was enjoying it. And give that running time to give a little bit more breathing room to each of these stories. Because I'm like, oh, I don't want it to end yet. That's the kind of reaction I had. Like the next segment, this crooked space captain named Stern, he's on trial for the numerous serious charges. And funny enough, the Captain Stern character looks like Superman. He's got like the chin, he's almost got the Superman curl. I don't remember the making of that was on the DVD Blu-ray. So I'm surprised there's not a new one, like an updated documentary on this. If there is, let me know. But I would not be surprised if someone said one of the inspirations for that character was Superman. But at least to look wise. Because he looks a lot, like a Superman, you know, that type of thing. But it's this trial going on. He says he's not guilty. Again, the designs. I like the crowds that's mixed in with aliens and robots and humans. That all the mix of the crowds, the different types. And the story with this is he pays off a witness, but because the witness has a piece of marble that's the Lochnar, he starts spitting out the truth, and then he grows muscled out. And he starts wrecking the space station. And this is one of those things that I'm mentioning. I wish it was longer. I thought him wrecking the station was over way too soon. Like, I think it'd be very entertaining if he wrecked the entire station. Like this Captain Stern. And then this cute, like an eyeball robot that drags him along and helps him. They run for a little bit. And then it's over. I'm like, oh, why is it over so soon? Again, I think it'd be more funny if this long chase where it's going all around the space station. Oh shit, it's breaking up. Get the fuck out of here. Boom, 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 boom. Like going all around. Almost like think of a comedy back in the day where you have those long extended scenes that it's just getting bigger and crazier and crazier and bigger. And where is this going? And oh my god. He survived this, he survived that. Then when it gets to the ending where, okay, you got me. And then I'll give you what you want. And it starts giving the money. Good job, man. And the guy turns to normal. Thank you, Mr. Stern. And then he hits the fucking button and lets the witness fall off the fucking space and disintegrate. But I think, I don't know, I was just enjoying it. I would like that to have been a longer segment. Like I said, more of a rampage around the entire space station. Also, I do wonder if this is a screw up. When that segment ends, they're in this airlock type of thing. There's the Captain Stern, and there's the big guy that turns back to normal, the witness that the captain was going to pay off. There's scenes with the captain and has this like robot buddy, this eyeball. And then when it gets an up close shot, it goes back to a wide. That eyeball's gone. And that eyeball never shows up again. I'm like, is that a mistake? It seems as if when the captain's talking to this guy as a wide shot, it seems like over here there should be the eyeball robot thing. That doesn't really help with continuity of a scene where a character just fucking disappears out of the blue. And it didn't show like it moved over here or left or anything. No, it just disappeared. So in my opinion, that's a bit of a fuck up continuity wise. Like, where the hell did that robot eyeball go? Which I thought was kind of a cute robot thing. Like where the fuck did it go? Again, it could have been like he drops the guy, he looks at the robot, and the robot's like, or something like that. Then you could cut to the witness floating in space. But I know there was a segment that was cut out, but if you did like the DVD or Blu-ray, it's not fully animated. But when I looked at the scene, I remember going, the other things like one guy's hand, the witness has like the marble of the Lotnar, it crashes somewhere and it shows like a montage evolution of this world. I can see why it was cut out. I don't know, just I think what it did was it showed like the evolution going into the World Wars, because then that would go to World War II, to the B-17 bomber segment. But honestly, the hard cut from there to this, it was fine. It didn't bother me. And the World War II B-17 bomber is one of the shorter segments, but the one that's definitely the more horror, because B-17 bomber, bunch of these people get shot to shit. I mean to shit. While the green meteor Lotnar is chasing this plane. And people get turned to zombies, and definitely nice gore, like people's guts hanging out, and then the pilot parachutes down, and just the way the skeletons look easily make you think of EC Comics. Like Creepshow, like those type of, there's still some flesh left. It was mainly dangly skeleton zombies, and yeah, that doesn't end on a happy note, but I'm fine with that because it's not every fucking story doing it. Plus, it's so short, but it's short enough that where, okay, I don't really care about the characters, but I also know it's not really about the characters, it's about the situation. I'm just enjoying the animation. I'm enjoying the gore, the animation, and the style, which I think was the point of it. Now, if every story ended it on a bummer, to me that'd be a thing I wouldn't care for. But that's not the case. So I do think that's a fun little bit. Especially if you like EC Comics or you like that type of stuff with the nice bits of gore and skeleton zombies and cool animation. Another segment that I wish was longer, it starts with this Pentagon, this meeting where, oh, there's all these mutations, what's going on? And then this doctor, he tries to attack this lady, and these aliens arrive and abduct the two of them, and you realize that the doctor's like this android, and they accidentally got this lady, and she wants to go back, but the robot, voiced by John Candy, says, hey, stay around, hey, we can't take you back, blah, 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 this is why, let me show you around. And then they have sex off screen, but when you next see them in bed and she's titties out, God bless the 80s, the titties just come out. You don't have that anymore. Well, I guess if you look up Pornhub or something, you can find that easily, but I'm just saying in movies you don't see that. So you pretty much a little bit of that. I guess they don't get married. And then Harold Ramis, may you rest in peace, as well as John Candy, Ramis, director of Caddyshack, director of Groundhog Day, co-star of Stripes and Ghostbusters. He's one of these two aliens who are pilots that sniff all this shit, and they have this psychedelic experience. And I forgot that you briefly see the fucking USS Enterprise. Yes, Star Trek Enterprise makes an appearance in this. I completely forgot about that. And they land, but they land stoned, so they fuck up their ship, but they land. I guess for me, that's what I was saying. I wish I could see more of this. I could see more of like these stoned aliens amidst the city-state that they landed on, or this robot and this lady. More scenes of maybe him showing this world and interacting with this world, and you know, what happened next, what happened afterward, like a little bit more. But you know what? That shows for me how good of a film is when I'm wanting more, because usually I want less running time, less, work on the pacing. But here, a story like that, or the chapter story, I'm like, I want more, I want to see more. So, it's, not a bad thing. Leave them wanting more. And the last story is Tarna, where this is the story that definitely got the most running time, which makes sense because it's the cover. Like if you see the poster, the covers, that's from this story. Most of the advertising is based on this story, where something happens, the evil Lotnar mutates this crowd of people, turns to an evil army. The peaceful people, they need a warrior, they call out for this race. It's extinct. No, there's one left. So Tarna and her bird, they go off, they find what's left of the dead. She goes to this bar, fucks some people up, cuts some heads off. And interesting that they made her mute. They did not give her a voice. I don't know why I find that interesting. It's something I never realized until watching it again. But in a weird way, making her mute kind of made her more badass, made her more mysterious, made her more interesting to me because she was mute. Like there was no narrative, there was no thoughts, bubbles. Hey, this is what I'm thinking about. No explaining why she's doing this. No. Other people have explained what she's doing and why she's doing. She's in there to kick some ass. Not refreshing. And I would not be surprised if this movie gets canceled. Oh my god, they have a woman and they didn't even give her any dialogue. You know what? They gave the chick in Heavy Metal 2000 dialogue. If that's the dialogue you give to the chick, keep her fucking mute like this chick. Or write better fucking dialogue. Either way, again, fuck that movie. Like this one though, she's able to have a fight with the evil leader. The bird helps her up. She takes his fucking saw thing, jams it right into his own neck. They go off. They're bleeding. They're hurt. The Laudan's like, no, don't sacrifice yourself. Okay, bad guy, I will listen to what you tell me. But no, it's like, fuck you. I got the power of Grayskull. Fucks their shit up. Then you're finally back to the wraparound. You realize that the little girl is a reincarnation, is another generation of her race. I guess the Lotnar realized that or something, because then it blows up. I don't really understand why it blew up, because it was telling a flashback story, but it seemed like because the flashback story did something, made the Lotnar in the present time blow up. So I was a bit confused. Like if it was one of those things where the girl changes at that point and then does something to blow up the Lotnar. No, it's you. Like the Lotnar knew the little girl was powerful in some way, but didn't know quite who it is. It's you, and no, it's just I thought of a flashback. Oh no, that happened in the flashback. Oh shit, now I'm dead. So I was a bit confused on that. If anyone wants to explain to me in my dumbassness, feel free. But Interesting that when she escapes, they did a shot of an actual model of a house blowing up instead of just animating an explosion. I actually liked it. I thought it made it a bit unique and stand out. Some people may not like it. But what the fuck? Where did the model house come from that blows up? But I don't know, just like a lot of this movie, its uniqueness appealed to me. And you find out, yeah, she grows long hair, and there's another fucking creature, bird creature, and flies off for the next generation. So it was a nice, hopeful moment of message. But yeah, I was waiting for the little girl to kill the Loch Ness. Like, you killed my dad? Fuck you, you know, that type of thing. They didn't do that. So maybe that's the other nitpick I have. I would have liked if you see the flashback, you know, the anthology story of Tarina. She gives her life to stop the Loch Ness back in the day. Then the Loch Ness is like, I'm going to kill you. Then the little girl stops it. Then she turns, you know, that's where you get the change. There's growing taller, the hair. Maybe the sword appears. You know, something like that. So in our mind, like, this is for my dad, bitch. Like something of that nature would have been nice. Like, stabs it, shit, then runs off, and then the house explodes. Like, I would have added something of that nature into it. At least that's just me. But yeah, this movie I love. I don't know how many times I did mention, I love the animation, I love the rotoscoping technique, I love the creativity. Because it's an anthology, that you could go all the way with the creativity. That's the thing. That's one reason why I like the idea of an adult animated anthology, because you take place in this world, but now you do make whatever different world, you make whatever different city, you can make whatever different city-state, you can make whatever different types of creatures, and none of the stories overstay their welcome. And then mix that with a solid score, a fantastic soundtrack, being R-rated, so you don't have to hold back on words or violence or nudity. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's kick-ass, and it's badass. I mean, what more do you want? Heavy metal. The fucking even title rocks. Just like the title song rocks. I mean, I love heavy metal. Awesome fucking film. I can't remember the first time I saw it, but I've enjoyed it ever since. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.